Hey, peace, world. Um, Welcome to another Wood check-in, afternoon Wood, lunch Wood, whatever you want to call it. Sports and entertainment. This is some bite-down boxing thoughts. Getting this lunch in real quick. This Chris Mannix podcast, or this SI boxing podcast, I believe, with Chris Mannix, has a episode on there with DiBella. And I mean, man, he was preaching to the choir for me. Getting on, talking about women's boxing and really just weighing in on the economics and the let me put it where the ghost can get it. One of the things that really made me step away from social media, Twitter in particular, and really trying to interact with other people talking about boxing and boxing fans who have no skin in the game a lot of times. To me, it was disheartening. It was above disheartening that DAZN, first of all, just the whole pushback against DAZN. They don't have black fighters. It's not enough black fighters over there. They're gonna go and try the same model as HBO with the Eastern Euros, and not to say that all of that is completely unfounded, but I would be hard pressed to turn my nose up at a new provider of boxing. You know, they came along and said we're gonna try to provide more boxing. And you don't have to, it's a price tag on it, it's a subscription to it, but we're giving you more boxing. And we're going to try to do this on the run and get quality fighters on there, but we're going to get a bunch of fights per year. Give us $10. We know that changed to $19.99 unless you do the year pass. I get it. But again, the basic premise, more boxing is a safe way to get to it. It's rather inexpensive, or it's a lot of utility to it for me, and count me in. And then all of the haters and the detractors, started coming out, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? That was like the first phase. But now what Lou was getting into, what Lou alludes to here, is my same sentiments. It's shameful that here comes this entity that takes care of all the uncertainties and and I've said this before, we guaranteed Canelo 33, 35 million, whatever it is. You don't have to worry about no back end, no upside, no whatever. We've given you the money. We've overpaid. We let you fight Rocky Fielding. Like, we're doing all of this. We're bending over backwards here for this relationship. And like Lou says here, he says, man, the boxing people on the other side don't want to be good partners. Nah, I'm not going to fight Triple G. And this is where me and my dude, Lefty, got into a big, drawn-out debate about it, which it wasn't even a debate to me. Like, at some point, my point is pretty basic. Your money was taken care of. Go fight and go beat a dude who you can beat in Triple G. And Triple G was, and DAZN specifically brought him over there for one fight. They overpaid him too. We just want this one fight. Like, we're trying to get our calendar together. We're trying to live up to the what we said we were going to do, and nobody wants to play ball. And it's like, and then on the backside of that, it's DAZN's fault. And it's people rooting against DAZN. And I'm just sitting here like, man, none of this shit makes any sense. None of this shit makes no sense. Chipotle came out. Some people never even went back to McDonald's. But nobody went to Chipotle talking about, well, you guys should really consider making a cheeseburger. You should add a cheeseburger to your menu. You just went to something that was new in some regards better, improved quality, I think. And that's what Lou DiBella got into, was just quality control. He says, some of these guys are getting overpaid, and it's gone down a road that we don't know if we can turn back from. But he had a solution for that. I'll get to that in just a second. But he said, with Jacobs getting his 13 to 15, 12 to 15, 14 million, nobody knows specifically, but with him getting that money to face Canelo, like, everybody that comes to the table with DAZN from that point is like, well, look what he got. So now, hence, Sergey Derevyanchenko getting $5 million to face Triple G. Horrific, but okay. DiBella got to the spoke on it like, hey, at some point, DAZN has to say F you. They went out there, they gave up their negotiating leverage, saying, we need you, we need this, we got to put this calendar together, we got to give people this schedule, we got to get these new subscriptions, we need this, we need this. And he said, anytime you tell anybody that, his quote was like, if you tell anybody that you need them, they're gonna bleed you. And like I said, all of this kind of crystallized for me watching some of this, watching the back and forth on Twitter. Like I said, again, with people with no skin in the game. So-and-so should fight so-and-so. So-and-so should do this. DAZN should have that. You have no skin in it. And that's my thing. That's my position, really. I just want to talk about the fights and the fighters. What happened tonight on Fight Night was some realistic expectations for the next fight, and then the next fight is signed, and then analysis on that fight, and then talk about that fight night, and then repeat. But now, it's so popular out here that everybody has all these theories. We know what the purse split should be, and ain't nobody managing nobody. Ain't nobody signing no fighters. Ain't nobody becoming a promoter. And we just sit here and talk and talk and talk. And I know Lukey Boxing, I believe is his account. What is Lukey? Inside the Ropes. He made his video all downtrodden about the business of boxing being the main discussion. It's like, you don't have to engage in that stuff, man. Fall back. Like, the hell with it. So what? Sit here being down about it. Just step away from the shit. And so, but Lou got into, what'd he say? And he said, if we're paying you handsomely, way above market, like, you should be willing to fight the best. Like, we should get back to that. Which I see, a lot of that, best fight the best. But if you've been compensated well, you should take your ass out there and fight whoever the hell they put in front of you. Especially if you have you got 5 years guaranteed at the 33 per fight, 11 fights. Like, you should go out here and fight. What the hell are you still trying to make a fight out of 3 weight? And I don't want to specifically target Canelo in this situation. But it was, like I said, that was where I had to fall back, was that there shouldn't be any expectation for Canelo to fight a Triple G, and then to just refuse to understand what DAZN was even trying to do, and it pissed me off. It didn't piss me off, but again, it made me like, just shut up, Wood, just shut up. But it was a chick on, it was a fight fan. I see her on quite a bit of stuff. And she was saying something to Tevin Farmer, who's benefited well from his relationship with DAZN. And this lady said that DAZN is a crappy app that drops all the time, it freezes all the time, and nobody knows about it, and it sucks. And I'm like, I've had one problem with DAZN. Like, what are you talking about? Did you really ever have the app and use it? Or are you just sitting here lying? because the goal is for DAZN to eventually get to try to bid on the NBA and the NFL. So if they had a product, like I said, damn, I gotta cancel Fight Pass. UFC, it's a market difference in the quality of UFC Fight Pass, that app, and DAZN. It just is. Let me get ready to get out of here. But he said, DiBella also said that the undercard for these pay-per-views have been trash. I'm glad he spoke on that and said and called it for what it was. I'm not PBC leaning, DAZN leaning, Top Rank leaning. The PBC cards, which happened to be the pay-per-views of 2019, those undercards were horrible. Corbin and Charles Martin, disgraceful in Dallas. They did step up some. What was that? I think the AB and Pacquiao fight stepped it up a little bit, but this card that we getting ready to get, solid undercard, and I think DiBella even said that, and credited them, but DiBella was like, and to sum this up, DiBella was like, it's not about overpaying for the big time fight, the main event. You can also get people in the building with putting together a great undercard. Excuse me. But then he said something, they got to speaking about the purpose of Showbox and, needing to develop the fighters of tomorrow. But then he said he was complaining about some of the undercards of the DAZN fights, and I kind of didn't understand it, because that's been one of the things that's been a plus to me, that they've shown these undercards, and you're seeing these young guys that they've picked up, and they've been grooming them along the way, and we're getting to see that. So I'm not gonna say that all the DAZN cards have been perfect. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that they've come in the absence of Showtime, the exit of HBO. Where would we be without DAZN? And he said it. He said, for the diehard boxing fans, this is pretty great. Diehard boxing fans. He said, but they do have some work to do with trying to chase down, because it can't exist, just off of diehard people. Like, you're gonna need the casual boxing fan to come into the tent at times. So like I said, man, it's a pretty dope interview. He's very candid. But like I said, man, he just said it, a new sources every few years, a new source comes to the game with a lot of money to throw around. And he was like, boxing, we're just not a good partner. We just take their money. We just bleed them. And nobody's thinking, in the future or long term. And that's kind of, to look at the situation with Canelo. You look at these 5-year, these 3-year deals and whatnot, and then you see DAZN, whatever happens with them trying to get in business with the NFL, take up that Sunday ticket, I think is what they're trying to bid on. If you can mess around with some NBA games, Major League Baseball, if they can start adding these other sports, hockey, I guess, maybe they don't even try to renew anything down the road. Like I said, it was just a way to get into the U.S. market. And then lastly, he points out another thing. It's not even really like John Skipper isn't in love with boxing, most likely. And if the relationship is going to be this difficult, just like HBO found it towards the end, or the beginning of the end, then you just get the hell away from it. But it was easy to come in and put inject this upfront money into it, because it's low cost. You don't have to bid on a TV deal, and you don't have to pay the $8 billion, with the B to $10 billion to do business with the NFL or the NBA. So it's a way to get started. It's like the rappers back in the day and the hip hop clothing lines. selling t-shirts for 2 summers, and then they moved into the jeans and the denim line and whatnot. And yeah, I just appreciated. I said all this to say, I just appreciated, man, somebody talking about it for what it really is. It doesn't matter, PBC, Top Rank, Matchroom Boxing / Matchroom Boxing USA. Boxing is a tough partner to be in bed with long term. And then the fans that sit out here and make the BS acceptable, that's just a bad deal for those of us that just want to watch the fights. We don't want to make the fights, and we don't want to negotiate the purse splits and all of that, and we just want to watch the fights. So I'm out, man. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Tons of action on tonight. None of it truly exceptional, but my football teams are all just 2 weeks in. My football season is looking pretty trash, so I'm excited to have the boxing to hold me over. Peace.